What's going on there, YouTube? Welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Batman Knightfall. Now remember, when it comes to Knightfall, it's all about the idea that Bane wants to break the bat. And so what he did was he went out of his way to break out all the inmates from Arkham Asylum. They're all right now just running free across Gotham City to cause chaos. But the reason why he did that is a way to push Batman to his limits, physically and mentally. And once you have Batman reach that certain point, then Bane is going to move in to break the bat. Now, by this point in our coverage over Knightfall, Batman is really dealing more with the low tier bad guys, not the high tier bad guys. But the high tier ones are beginning to make their moves, like Scarecrow and the Joker. Now, in this video, we're going to see Joker and Scarecrow begin to make their moves on Gotham City. But we also going to see Killer Croc wanting to get revenge against Bane. Because let's not forget that in the preludes that led into Knightfall, Killer Croc got his arm broken by Bane. And so in this video, it's Croc saying, nah man, it's time for me to get some payback. And so we're going to see Bane versus Killer Croc round 2, while you have Scarecrow and Joker begin to make their moves. And for Batman, he has to take down Victor Zsasz as well. Now, like I said earlier in this video, Batman is physically and mentally drained, but he's trying his best to just carry on to take down his rogue gallery. So in the opening pages of Batman number 493, we do see Batman right now driving the Batmobile to his next target, which is going to be Victor Zsasz. Now, while you have Batman driving over there, he realized that this is not going to be an easy task, because even though he already taken down at least 3 out of 4 people who have broken out of Arkham Asylum, there are still so many out there and he's completely out of energy. Now, when it comes to Victor Zsasz, he's one of the many serial killers in Gotham City. But when it comes to Victor Zsasz, every single time he kills somebody off, he will mark his skin with a tally mark. And so over his entire body, he has all these different tally marks to remind him and others how many people that he has killed over the years. Now, when it comes to Victor, we see that he has completely taken over a school for women, a school for girls. And so right now it is a hostage situation. You have police officers outside right now trying to figure out what are they going to do to save those girls from the hands of Victor Zsasz, because if he kills them, he is, 1, going to enjoy it, but 2, mark his skin for each of the girls that he kills off. Now, one of the many officers that we are going to focus on in this Knightfall event is a character known as Lieutenant Kitch. Now, when it comes to Kitch, he's trying his best to handle this whole entire situation involving Victor Zsasz. As a matter of fact, he thought it would be a good idea to send in an officer to bring down a guy like Victor Zsasz, but to also save the young girls. But here's the problem though. You see, when it comes to the GCPD, they don't have any radios that allow someone to sneak into a building, but to at least call back to people outside of the building. And so the officer who's in there right now has no way of contacting the outside team. But on top of that, he has not returned at all. And so for Kitch, he believes that Victor Zsasz most likely killed off that officer. Now, another one does appear, and apparently he has the right gear for this job. He says, listen, I'll go inside, I'll stay quiet, but I make sure to hit my button multiple times to let you know that I'm perfectly okay. But my main goal is to find a missing officer and then save the young girls, and then hopefully stop Victor as well. But that plan goes straight out the window, because once you have the second officer go inside, he finds the first officer and, well, he's dead. He got his throat split open, and then Zsasz appears right behind the second officer to take him out as well. Now I want to jump over to Bane, and the reason why, because you have Bane right now watching the news about the whole entire situation. Now for Bane, he's wondering, how is Batman going to handle this kind of situation? Now for Bane, he has Bird there to observe the scene live. Now when it comes to Bird, who does work for Bane, he does tell Bane, I feel like it's time to bring down Batman now. And here is the reason why. Because I feel like Batman is overrated. What grown man has a sidekick that is a child to help him take down his different enemies? Now for Bane, he says no. Batman is not ready yet to be broken. And the reason why, because yes, Batman may be physically drained, but for me personally, he's not mentally drained just yet. That mind is strong. It's what's right now carrying him to keep fighting against his different enemies. Now, when it comes to Victor Zsasz, he told the police at the very beginning of this whole entire situation that if they send anybody in there at all, he was going to begin to kill off the different girls that he's currently holding hostage right now in that building. And so he is very upset about the idea that they had sent in 2 officers hoping to bring him down. And so he throws both their dead bodies out the window and right in front of the GCPD. Now, luckily for the police, Batman had just arrived, and Batman goes in to hopefully take down Victor Zsasz. Now, when Batman gets inside, Robin is there already. Now, these 2 guys are technically not on good terms at the moment. And the reason why, because Batman will not listen to anybody else at all. He believes that he knows what's best for him and anyone else. And so the last few times when it came to Batman going up against other characters like the Mad Hatter and also Ventriloquist, he tells Robin to stay behind. And for Tim, it's kind of like, then what's the point of me being here with you if I can't really be your partner? But at the same time, what kind of partner does not listen to his partner when they're trying their best to watch over them? Because right now, Tim, Alfred, they know that Batman is completely drained. Now, when it comes to Robin, he does tell Batman that they have been followed by one of the 3 guys who work for Bane, and that would be Bird. And so for Robin, he says, listen, if you want me gone, I'll leave, and I will let you take down Victor Zsasz while I follow Bird to hopefully find Bane for you. And so you have Robin leave to go do that. But it really does show that these 2 are not on the same term right now. Now, the rest of this chapter is really more of Batman being able to bring down Victor Zsasz. But before you have Batman do that, we do see Victor being able to grab another officer, and that will be Renee Montoya. And she's also really important in Knightfall as well as one of the many officers that we are going to see. Now, when it comes to Batman, though, he's kind of hoping that Victor will know anything about Bane. But the problem is, Victor does not know anything about Bane at all. But Victor does know that if somebody went out of their way to break out all the inmates that Batman had put away, that means this person is really trying to come after Batman, which honestly, Victor is right. But either way, you do have Batman being able to go after Victor Zsasz. They do battle against each other. But again, you have Batman being able to win. But the problem is, though, even though he was able to take down Victor Zsasz, you can tell that Batman just can't hang on much longer. That these battles are taking a toll on him. And the question is, how much longer can he go when it comes to taking on all these different characters? Now, the next chapter we have to talk about takes place in Detective Comics number 660. Now, when it comes to this chapter, it's all about Killer Croc wanting to get revenge against Bane. Because remember, in one of the preludes that led into Knightfall, we saw Bane being able to break the arm of Killer Croc. And so this is Croc saying, you know what? It's time for me to get some payback. Now, something else I do want to mention is when it comes to Killer Croc around this time in DC Comics, he began to change. Let me explain. So when he first appeared in DC Comics, this man wanted to be a crime boss, which he almost was able to achieve. Now, he did have his skin problem, but he still had a mind of a man. But right now, he's beginning to change and turn more into like a crocodile man with a mind of an animal. And so right now, this is a guy who's not thinking like a regular human. He is thinking like an animal who just wants revenge against someone who had hurt him. And of course, that would be Bane. Now, we do jump over to Bane. When it comes to Bane, he's getting word from Bird about what happened to Batman in the last chapter. And you have Bird tell Bane, Batman is at his moment or at his end because that man is completely drained. That man cannot tell what's right to left or what's up and down. Like, you have the perfect time to actually break the bat. And for Bane, it does sound like the right time, but still with Bane, he wants to wait. He wants to see more of Batman going up against the different characters that Bane had released from Arkham Asylum. Now, when it comes to Bane and the rest of his crew, they have no idea that they're being watched by Robin, because remember, Robin said he saw Bird earlier, and so he was able to find Bird again and follow him all the way back over to Bane. And so now Robin found Bane, but he's trying to call Batman. But the problem is Batman cannot answer the call. And the reason why, because after Bird had left, and while you have the police right now taking away Victor Zsasz, Batman collapsed on the top of the rooftop. That man is physically, and for me personally, mentally drained. And so right now, he's just knocked out cold. And he cannot hear the call of Robin say, hey man, I found Bane. He's right here right now in front of me. Now, just for a brief moment, I want to jump back over to Dr. Simpson, and we actually talked about him in our last video. When it comes to Dr. Simpson, he used to work at Arkham Asylum, but he really believes that the inmates there in Arkham Asylum are not really insane. That matter of fact, they're misunderstood, that the outside world should try better to understand what these people have actually gone through, to see they're not insane, they're actually sane completely in the head. And so we see him on live television right now trying to push his new book, but to also push his agenda as well. Now, getting back over to Bane, Bane is still having his conversation with his crew. Now, when it comes to Bird, he wants to take care of Robin, but Bane says no. Our main target right now is Batman. We can deal with Robin later on. Now, when it comes to Bane, he does give his crew new tasks to take care of, and they all leave, and so does Bane. Now, when it comes to Robin, he feels like he should be able to tell Bane without Bane noticing that he is being tailed. But here's the thing. Bane is very aware of his surrounding, and so Bane is able to disappear and come right behind Robin to grab him. Now, I want to shift back over to Batman, and here's the reason why. So when it comes to Batman, he is actually found by Bullock because Batman fell asleep in a dumpster. Now, once you have the light be shined on Batman, he does wake up, and Bullock can realize that Batman looks like a hot mess, that this man needs to rest. But Batman is not going to rest, especially now because Batman is having a hard time getting a hold of Robin. And that tells us right there that Bane was able to get Robin. Now, when it comes to Robin, we see that he is blindfolded and his hands are tied behind his back. He is technically a prisoner of Bane right now. Now, when it comes to Bane, he's kind of like, you are very interesting in so many different ways. I don't understand why in the world that man has you as a sidekick. I don't understand why in the world he keeps you around, a child around, to help him fight against crime. Like literally, you are a wild card for Batman. Now for Bane, he believes that if he holds on to Robin just long enough, it should bring Batman straight to him. If that happens, it could give Bane the chance to actually take Batman down. Now, here's the problem though. Bane realized there's someone else in the sewers with them, and that would be Killer Croc. Now, when it comes to Killer Croc, this man, like I said earlier, is on a mission. This man's main goal is to bring down Bane. Now, Bane does remember Croc very well, but the thing is, Bane is not scared of Croc, because last time they saw each other, Bane was able to break the arm of Croc. But this time, Croc feels like he should be more prepared to take on Bane. But the problem is, while the fight goes on, the stone underneath their feet, it crumbles away. And so you have Bane, Croc, and also Robin fall deeper into the sewers, into a bunch of water. And so we're left to believe that Robin could most likely drown in the sewers, and this could be his end. And so getting into Batman number 494, we actually do pick up with Robin, Bane, and Killer Croc just flowing through the waters in the sewers. Now, Robin realized that sooner or later, he has to save himself, because if he doesn't, the later parts of these tunnels is most likely going to drown him. And so he is able to find a way to get out of the waters to save himself, but just barely. But Killer Croc and Bane, they went deeper into the sewers, leaving us wondering what exactly happened to them. But now we have to pick up with the Joker. Now, when it comes to the Joker, we see him meeting up with Cornelius Stirk. Now, when it comes to Cornelius, he's kind of like a low-grade version of Scarecrow, meaning that, yes, both characters do use, fear as a way to bring down their targets, but when it comes to Cornelius, he does not use fear toxin. Instead, he has a psychic ability where he is able to change his appearance when someone is looking at him. And so when he does it, he makes sure to bring out their worst fear. So for example, let's say you're scared of clowns. He will change his appearance in your mind into a clown, something that you are scared of. Now, when it comes to Joker, apparently he needs Cornelius for a big plan of his coming up very soon. Now, in the morning, we do pick up with Bruce Wayne in Wayne Manor, and we see Bruce calling Sandra Kinsolving. Now, when it comes to Sandra, she is his doctor right now who's trying to bring him back to health, because she realized that this is a man who's physically and mentally drained. And so she has been trying to work with him. But the problem is, thanks to Bane releasing all the inmates from Arkham Asylum, this man has to always cancel his appointments. And apparently, this is the 5th one that he had canceled. Now, something else I do want to mention is that when it comes to Sandra, by this point in DC Comics, she is beginning to somewhat like Bruce Wayne, wanting to be with him, because when he cancels, she's kind of upset about the idea he canceled, but not because his health, but more because she's unable to spend more time with him, a man she actually kind of likes right now. But you do have Alfred walk into the room and tell Bruce, hey, Tim is back. We found Tim. He's downstairs right now. But now I want to jump over to the office of the mayor, where we pick up with Mayor Kroll really being upset with Jim Gordon, because in our last video for Knightfall, the mayor told Jim, I want you to tell your officers to shoot to kill, to go ahead and get rid of all the inmates who are trying to escape from Arkham Asylum. But Jim said, no, my officers only shoot someone when the time comes to defend themselves. But the problem was, when that happened, all the inmates were able to escape. And now all the inmates are in Gotham City causing chaos across the entire town. And people are dying left and right. And so for the mayor, he said, listen, thanks to you, I now have to call in the National Guard. If I do that, that begins the process of you losing your job. And let's not forget that Jim just got married to Sarah. And so right now, his new wife might find out that he no longer has a job. But getting back over to the Batcave, you didn't have Batman be very happy about the idea that Tim is okay, Robin. But here's the problem though. You see, when it comes to Tim, he's kind of upset with Batman by the end of this section right here. And here is the reason why. Because you have Batman wondering, why in the world did Bane release all those different inmates for? Like, what is he trying to achieve by releasing all those inmates? And you have Robin say, because he's trying to come after you. Like, you're his main target. The inmates are a way to bring you down. It's clearly obvious, but also you need to rest. You need to stay here because if you go out there, there is a possibility that he could or someone else could bring you down. But for Batman, he says no, because right now the inmates are still causing chaos across the city. People are dying across the city. He has to go out there. But you have Tim say, listen, man, I can go out there, or Azrael. But for Bruce, no, it has to be him. And Alfred says, both of you are crazy. But either way, Bruce leaves. But now it's time to bring Scarecrow into the picture. Now, when it comes to Scarecrow, we see him go to a bar looking for the Joker, where of course the Joker is not there. But some of the men who used to work for the Joker is there. And so you have Scarecrow go there to ask the men, where is the Joker? What does he have planned for Gotham City? Now, when it comes to one of the guys, he is hit with fear toxin. But thanks to the fear toxin, he does tell Jim everything he needs to know. He says, listen, when it comes to the Joker, he's right now going after Jim Gordon. And so you have Scarecrow leave to see what is the Joker actually up to. Now for Batman, he's trying to find Cornelius Stirk. But the problem is, even though Bruce was able to figure out where Cornelius could be hiding out at, when he arrives at the hideout, Cornelius is already gone. But he did leave a note behind that kind of tells Batman that his next target is Jim Gordon. Now, when it comes to the Joker, his main plan was to go after Jim Gordon because Jim is the man in charge of the GCPD. If you are able to control him, then you'll be able to control the GCPD. And so he thought, you know what? Let me use Cornelius as a way to get close to Jim Gordon because Cornelius has the ability to bring out the worst fear in people. And then if Jim does see his worst fear, he will be unable to do anything to protect himself. That would allow Cornelius to grab Jim and bring Jim back to the Joker. Now, when it comes to Jim, it seems like his worst fear is Batman. Because remember, when it comes to Cornelius, yes, he's able to bring out your worst fear, but he has the ability to make you see something else when it comes to looking at him. And so when Jim looks at Cornelius, he sees Batman with a knife trying to kill him. Now, here's the problem. The Joker told Cornelius, I need you to kidnap him. But for Cornelius, nah, he wants to go ahead and kill off Jim Gordon. Now, luckily, Batman, the real Batman, arrives and he is able to take down Cornelius. Now, while you have the Joker walking away, he's then confronted by Scarecrow. Now, when it comes to Scarecrow, he is ticked off because he says, how dare you use someone like Cornelius, who's not as good as me when it comes to fear, to go after a target? You should have came to me because I'm the best person when it comes to using fear. Now, when it comes to Scarecrow, he said, listen, your plan was a good one, but it was a tad bit small. Like, yes, going after Jim Gordon was a great idea as a way to control the GCPD, but why not go even higher up? Why not go after the mayor to bring real chaos to Gotham City? Now, getting back over to Batman, we see that he's trying his best to make sure that Jim is okay, because Jim is still freaking out thanks to Cornelius. Now, you do have Sarah arrive. Now, when it comes to Sarah, let's not forget that this woman does not like Batman at all because he goes against everything that Jim stands for when it comes to being a police officer. The idea that Batman is a vigilante. There are some other reasons as well, but for right now, that's the main one. And so for her, she's kind of like, what happened to my husband? And Batman tries to tell her what exactly happened, but to her, she feels like this is all Batman's fault, and she takes Jim away. Now for Bruce, he realized that so far into Knightfall, only the small-time criminals have been causing problems across Gotham. The big-time ones have not done anything big just yet, like the Joker, Two-Face, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy. And really, this was Joker's scheme, but Batman has no idea it was Joker's scheme. But Bruce is right. The big-timers have not done anything big just yet, and that could happen very soon. Now, the last page of this chapter, we actually do see Scarecrow and the Joker being able to get into the office of the mayor. And when they do, bam, just like that, they hit him with fear toxin. And so now they are able to work on him to begin to use his power over Gotham to control Gotham and their image. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, we are still going to continue on with Knightfall in our next couple videos for Batman. And then, man, again, the Night Quest, Night Sin, the Search, all those other big things that tie into Knightfall completely. But hey, I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video.